Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and I'm gonna do another buy or sell, and this is gonna be one of my own buy or sells that I planned out. Still doing the requests, obviously, and there might be requests that you guys have already done that I might be in the process of doing. Um, but I do also want to do my own preference buy or sells too, to kind of, even show furthermore, besides just different, who's better characters and stuff like that, and all that stuff. I also want to, branch it out with other things too, like I did with the first one, who was the more influential character between Yugi and Ash. Um, so for today's buy or sell, I have decided to do buy or sell uh, Android 18 or buy or sell on who was the more shocking uh, good guy turn, more shocking slash impactful turn, and it will be between Android 18 and Prince Zuko from Avatar and 18 from Dragon Ball Z, Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So buy or sell, who was the more shocking good guy turn? Um, so I'm gonna and in deciding this because obviously we know Dragon Ball Z is my favorite anime of all time, and I'm a huge Avatar fan as well. Um, it was tough, to decide this, but I'm gonna buy Android 18 and I'm gonna sell Prince Zuko. And here's my whole thing on this: is um, Prince Zuko's kind of villainous, character was kind of, for the first season of Avatar, the first season, the first book, the whole first season, it was like Zuko was the villain, but we also had Commander Zhao too. Okay, that he was fighting over, to try and get the Avatar, because they both wanted to get credit for taking the Avatar, or, getting the Avatar. Um, the thing is, we didn't really know really that much about Zuko's backstory uh, you know, until probably the end of book one, when we found out how he, got his scar. But then that was pretty much it. We didn't really find out about Zuko until, season two, when, he lost his boat and everything, and his men. Um, and so he was kind of a conflicted type villain. He didn't know what side he really wanted to be on. And you've seen that at the end of book two. Um, so, really shocking? Not really. When Zuko finally did come over to the Avatar side, it really wasn't that shocking. I mean, they were letting you know throughout the whole or throughout the whole book three, that halfway through book three, that he was thinking about turning. Seeing Iroh in prison, secretly seeing him, his uncle Iroh. It wasn't really a shocking turn, because it was being laid out. It was being laid out. Android 18, from her backstory, it was sort of different. And me, big fan of Android 18, obviously here. Favorite woman character in Dragon Ball Z, obviously. Uh, she's the strong. Well, she was the strongest in Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. We know about Verdo, who's in Dragon Ball Super. But in Dragon Ball Z, Android 18, she was the shit. She was the first female character that was strong. We had Bulma, we had Chi Chi. Chi Chi, little bit in Dragon Ball. there, when she did some martial arts. But Android 18 was like the first woman where we had like, a legitimate strong woman, character in Dragon Ball Z. Um, but the way how the whole story went, the way, at least the way Future Trunks was leaving it out, is that these people were mercenaries. They were, from his time, and we obviously seen the future Android 18 and Android 17, which were more deadlier than the present androids, even though somehow Android 17 and Android 18 in the presence were actually 100 times stronger than the future androids, because the future androids were a lot weaker than the present day androids, even though they were more deadlier and destructive because they, just killed innocent people for no reason. Um, the present androids were not as destructive, but they were much stronger. Um, so with 18, it was more shocking because we didn't really know that she turned. Like, when she turned good, she didn't really turn good. The only reason why Android 18 turned good was because Cell came along. Cell came along and interfered with Piccolo in 17's fight, in Android 17's fight, and then 17 gets absorbed by Piccolo, and then Cell's going after 18 because now he's way stronger than 18. Now with absorbing 17, and now 18's more of a defensive, person. But that's how she turned good. She never really turned good. But it was shocking because then obviously by the end of the series, or by the end of the Cell Saga, I'm sorry, not end of the series, by the end of the Cell Saga, it was like, we didn't really know what she was going to do. She kind of left Krillin out in the dark, at the end there. But then, of course, we know after the time skip, they did end up getting married. Still one of the biggest mysteries in time skip history, since that was kind of left off to interpretation. Like, for example, like if that had been the end of Dragon Ball Z, we would have been left out in the dark on that, because we got that whole thing at the end, but then that was it, and then all of a sudden 18 and Krillin were married in the Buu Saga. So I mean, in terms of a more shocking impact, I would say 18. I would buy an 18 and I would sell on Zuko, because 18 had more, even though she was kind of thrust into being a good guy, even though she was more thrust into being a good guy, she necessarily didn't turn good, but she kind of morphed into a good guy more of. It was kind of one of those type of deals. With Zuko, he was kind of conflicted throughout the entire series. We didn't know about it until towards the end of book 1, and then we really realized it in book 2. But he was conflicted throughout the whole series, on his thing, and then you pretty much had the writing on the wall that this guy might turn good at some point. You had the writing on the wall. With 18, you never necessarily knew, and then of course you had the whole future trunk element where you see what 18 becomes in the future, and you're like, oh my god, how did 18 become good? When she was, she was this destructive person that just destroyed everybody, with 17. So, there was more build towards 18 being more of a villain and never turning into a good guy or good girl, I guess, in this case. So Android 18 definitely would be my buy for this particular topic in terms of who was the more shocking person to turn good, turn into a good guy or a good girl. I would buy on Android 18, and I would sell on Prince Zuko. And so this is just kind of more of an example of other buys or sells I would like to do besides, just the typical, who's the better character or who's the, this or that. type thing. I want to do, change it up a little bit and do other things too, and put those topics out there. And that's why I thought this would be, because I mean, who would be better to do a topic than, who is, the best good guy, who is the best bad guy to good guy, one, and that would obviously be 18 and Zuko. Um, yeah, I thought this was really good. Like I said, I'm buying Android 18 and I'm selling Prince Zuko, and I would like to know what you guys think about this topic, and if there are other ones like this that you want me to do, buy or sell for, best good guy or best bad guy turned good guy, buy or sell, or even vice versa, and do, a villain, or a good guy turned villain, one, comment down below because I'm still taking requests. Obviously, I'm going to do my own ones too, not just do request ones. But if you actually request one that I'm actually thinking of, like one that I actually am thinking about actually doing for a future video, I will still give you the request. I will still request credit you, but I will mention that this is something that I would have planned too. So that will be also, if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying, type thing, that you'll know, because I have a couple of my own ones that are already planned. So far, there are a couple of requests that have been put into the comments, because I am looking at them all and I am considering some of them for future videos. But there is a few in there that I actually was legitimately planning and are request comments. So that's really good to see that too. And if you do request one that I'm thinking of, that will make me want to do it even earlier than I probably would normally have done it. So that makes it even all the more better for you guys to get it quicker. So that's my whole take on this. I would like to hear your opinion on this topic as well, obviously, because this is a subjective series, obviously. But yeah, like I said, I hope you like this. Again, I like doing this. It's really cool getting to talk about Android 18 because, Android 18 is my favorite female Dragon Ball Z character. So it's really getting cool to talk about her and not have to talk about her in a fictional fight, any amount of these days with where we get all these versus series out there. I did do the breakdown back in the day of Rukia and Rukia and Android 18, which you guys can check that out. It's still up. Not as good as my newer ones, but still very well researched as always. But yeah, it's a really good change up doing more different Dragon Ball Z characters, obviously, and hopefully that other show doesn't do any more DBZ characters anytime soon, if you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm really happy with the positive feedback I've gotten from this series, my buy or sell series. So it's really good that I like how people are liking this series, and I thank you all that are putting the requests in, and I hope you enjoyed this as well. So yeah, that's my whole take on this. So yeah. like I said, let me know what you guys think. If you like this video or any of my other videos, please subscribe, obviously. Like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Yeah, that is about it. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace.